Hello and welcome to the Outdoorsy Educator podcast, the show where curiosity meets the open road. I'm your host Alasdair, and I invite you to join me as we explore the world through travel, nature, getting outside, and the power of learning. Each episode, we will dive into stories from inspiring educators, adventurers, and global citizens who are reshaping what it means to learn, whether it's in a classroom, on a mountain trail, or even halfway across the world. From backpacking trips that change your perspective to educational journeys that transform communities, we will cover it all. So pack your curiosity, lace up your boots, and let's discover how the world teaches us, one step, one story, one adventure at a time. Since 1970, Whole Earth Provision Company has been the Texas outfitter for side quests big and small. Whether you're gearing up for the open road, chasing a trailhead, or hunting for that just right gift, they have got you covered. Think durable clothing, shoes that will actually go the distance, gear that's road trip ready, and books, puzzles, and toys that will spark wonder at every age. You'll find Whole Earth in Dallas, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio, or anytime online at wholeearthprovision.com. And hey, because you're rolling with the Outdoorsy Educator podcast, here's a little extra love. Use the code OutdoorsyEDU for 20% off your next adventure at Whole Earth. And on this week's episode, we have Sierra Shannon. Sierra, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I've followed you on Instagram for a little while now. I got into overlanding, which we'll talk about later, a couple of years ago, and you're one of the first accounts I saw, and super, super inspiring. But why don't you tell listeners just a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the constant support. So
Yeah.
I'm Sierra, alternately known as Vixen Outback. I really just love the overlanding space. There's a lot that I love about it, but mainly just bringing people out into nature, and that's been my goal for a long time. But the account more so started as a just a way to show off the Forerunner. I really liked it. I bought it, and it was all built out for overlanding. But throughout I think I've owned it for 4 years now. Throughout those 4 years, I've kind of switched the build, and basically everything on it is new from what I wanted to build it out as. So
That's so awesome. Yeah, I've definitely got a bit of Forerunner envy. I was buying I sold my truck 3 years ago and was determined just to buy a cash car. And it was like, do I get the Ford Explorer with 120,000 miles or the Forerunner with 250,000 miles? Because I was determined to be disciplined and stick to the budget. So I got the Ford Explorer, and it's been great. But I see some of these Forerunners either built out or just rolling around on the street, and man, they're nice cars.
they really are. Mine actually has, I think, 250,000 miles now.
There you
I bought
go.
it at 217 a few years back, and it's an amazing car. So
Yeah, I look at them still on like Facebook Marketplace and things, and people are selling them with, I mean, well over 300,000 miles on them, and they run fantastically well. So,
oh yeah.
but fingers crossed that'll be the next purchase at some point, but hopefully not too soon. But at some point. And then you're based in California, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in SoCal.
In SoCal, very nice. Because I was trying to think if we connected, or if I found your account through Camthropology. I'm not sure if you know him, Roland. Um,
I'm not sure.
he's a camping guy in SoCal as well. He's just north of San Diego.
Mhm.
Um, but I was thinking about that, quite how I found you and several other people out in that area who do overlanding.
Yeah, I've definitely
It,
been to a few of those events down there, but I'm not sure if I recognize that name.
okay, it might have been to him, to somebody else, to you. I don't remember. But in addition to overlanding, you've got a small laundry list of outdoor activities you certainly enjoy. Like I told you before we started recording, I thought I'll have a quick look at your website, but I didn't want to read too much. And the first one that jumped out at me was shooting, and I'll tell you why. Because I grew up in Scotland. Simply, let's just say guns don't exist. They exist, but they're not. It's not part of the culture. My wife grew up in New Jersey with a family that hunted and went to the range and the this and the that. and she realized a few weeks ago she missed it. Just going to shoot some targets and what would you call it? Getting some range time. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the phrase. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So actually, past weekend, I called a friend of mine who is a firearms instructor, and we met at the range and spent a few hours there. It was my first time ever experiencing that. My wife had a blast and really, well, literally and figuratively, really enjoyed it. I kind of get it. I kind of get it, and it was. I've lived in Texas for quite a while now, and I think it's good to immerse yourself and try these things, and not stand away from them. You got to try these things and see what you think. I kind of get it. I found myself asking questions. What is shooting always been part of your life? Is it more just about defense, or do you do other things as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as American, like upholding our Constitution is great. Like it's our right,
Right.
and it can be used for both sport and defense.
Hmm.
Um, I personally just enjoy it. It's a fun hobby for me, but I do have my concealed carry as well. I know
Right.
some states have open carry, but California is a bit more strict. So,
Hmm.
as a female overlander, I go with my fiance a lot, but when I don't, I need some form of protection. So, having that with you as a constitutional, you know, as a constitutional protection is amazing. But my fiance was a Marine, so he is well versed in the gun world. So I kind of grew up with it, with
Hmm.
shooting a little bit here and there. My mom wasn't a huge fan, but my dad was. He really wanted us to know safety, get a little bit of experience moving forwards into an adulthood lives. And then when I met my fiance, he was the one that kind of brought me more into the world, educated me a bit more, trained me. Um, and yeah, I mean, that was pretty
Yeah.
much my experience. So I'm not like super experienced, but it's a fun hobby on the side. And I do enjoy it. And I would like to get more into the shooting side of it, like in terms of
Yeah.
hunting. Not the
Right.
shooting side. I'd like to get more into the hunting side of it
Right.
because I feel like it's definitely a fun hobby and you can actually use what you get, which I'm all about, like being self-sufficient, self-sustainable. And I feel like getting your own meat would be pretty cool. So
That's really interesting. It's one of those things that led me to be more open to it. Was especially back home, but I mean everywhere. People will understandably kind of go, "Oh, hunting, couldn't do it, blood and guts and that." And I understand, but unless you're a vegetarian or a vegan, and I am not, and I was that guy, it's a bit hypocritical. Like it's
mhm.
a little bit, where does your food come from, kind of thing.
Yeah, you
And
don't want to see it, but you want it.
right, that doesn't quite, and like I said, I was that guy, and I still am a little bit, but I acknowledge the hypocrisy. Um, but my father-in-law is, like I said, a lifelong hunter, and he's also, explained to me in detail what happens to some of these old animals in nature. Not
Yeah,
pleasant, not
no.
pleasant at all. So really, looking at the humane side of things, it's really not inhumane at all.
No, it's also
Um,
population control too. Like when
yeah,
you're overpopulating an area and these animals are taking over, or there's an invasive species like the boars in Texas. They're really invasive and they're not supposed to be there. So eliminating the invasive species, making sure that the population is self-sustaining and not
mhm,
exceeding what the natural resources can sustain is
yeah.
important.
Yeah, I'm involved a little bit with Texas Parks and Wildlife and listen to their podcasts and read their magazines and things. And there's a lot of that.
Hmm.
You'll know more than I do, I'm sure, but is it javelinas or wild pigs that were introduced to things like
Yeah.
that they talk about. And it's, yeah, you think about the flip side, if there was no hunting or nobody did it, the world would look very different and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Um,
And those animals would just be roaming all over and pretty invasive. So
Yeah, nobody would like that. I will forget if I don't do it right now. So congratulations, getting married. That's awesome.
thank you.
So congratulations to you and your fiance.
Thank you very
But yeah,
much.
the shooting was like I said, eye-opening. I don't like to say no to things without good reason or without having tried them. But I
Yeah.
found myself asking questions, and I think knowledge is key in this situation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, knowledge around guns is kind of what I would say not having the knowledge around a gun is what perpetuates those negative stereotypes. So it's
Yeah,
good to educate yourself on those and then actually understand that they can be used for peace and for fun, and not the negatives. So
absolutely. And for me, it was even things like we were sitting in this sort of retail space outside waiting for our friend. And I was looking at the people that came in to practice. This was Saturday morning. Not who you would think. a lot of the time. And that was a good thing. Again, the diversity of people coming in to practice, to get something, to clean their weapons, whatever it was. And
Hmm.
again, I like it secretly when I'm proven wrong about things like that. You know, it's like, all right, this is good for me to not get too stuck into what I assume is correct.
Yeah.
But good for you. Yeah, the self-protection is something my wife and I have discussed a lot. And yeah, I'm glad that that's something that you are able to do there. Now, also on your website, you talk about hiking, which is sort of my main outdoor activity. You live in California, where in my head, you're spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you go hiking a lot while you're there, or is it when you go to other places?
I go hiking, but more so where I live exactly. We don't really have a ton of trails. We just have like one or two kind of minimal trails. So more so I
Right.
use those as like training for the actual hikes that I love. So my fiance and I are huge travelers. That's another thing that we love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's on the website somewhere. But we just went to, oh my God, that was a year ago. Last September, we went to Norway. And
Ah,
we were doing all these amazing hikes, just gorgeous views, crazy, kind of crazy hikes. Like you're climbing up the side of a mountain and it's like literally bouldering up it.
right.
But some fun things. Like I'm not like in rock crawling or like rock climbing shape. But we do
Right.
like hiking stuff like that. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's sort of similar to me in a sense as I'm not off the deep end with any of this. Like I've got good friends who are, through hikers, triple crowners, done the AT, all those things. And that's wonderful. And maybe one day that door will open for me, but I can go for 3 or 4 days, couple of nights, do 100 miles, 80 miles, and that gets it out of my system. And then just go for sort of weekend hikes.
Yeah, yeah.
Norway, I've never made it to. I've bounced around quite a bit of Europe, but Norway is top of the list.
Unbelievable. Definitely a country. Norway and Iceland are two of the countries that I highly recommend in terms of adventure travel, like outdoors space. In terms of food, I'm on the Italy side.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm right there with you. Italian food is up there with Mexican food for me. Like if you had to choose one kind of food to only eat, it'd be one of those two.
My fiance and I disagree on that. He's Mexican, I'm Italian,
There
so
you
we both
go.
have our sides. So,
Right. I love it. Yeah, Iceland, I swear, has become really popular over
yeah.
the last 5 years. And people renting sort of a small camper van and driving around, and it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
pretty idyllic as well, both in Reykjavik and outside the city.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy cool country because it's just like you're driving down a like basically a field and you look to your left and there's a rock face with a waterfall coming out of it. And you're like,
Ah,
"Oh, that wasn't there 50 feet ago where it was just
right.
plains." So it's an insane country.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of flights. And I think this might have maybe talking nonsense, but I think the Icelandic government made a lot of deals with airlines to have stopovers there to increase tourism, and it's
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
yeah,
smart.
yeah, I would absolutely. So if you had to choose one place, your favorite place you've been, can you choose
That's
one, or is it
so
just
hard to choose.
right,
Um, I would probably say Italy.
right?
I love the history. I love the culture. I love the food. I'm Italian, like more than 50% Italian, so it just it flows for me. But second would definitely be Norway. And
Right.
Iceland
And
is a
Iceland.
very close third.
I love it. Yeah, I've been to the north of Italy and was there for like 2 days, so it doesn't really. I got a taste of it, but I cannot wait to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Now, again, looking through your website, I was pretty excited to see you've listed nerd stuff. So
Yeah.
we're going there because I think some of us we all have a closet nerd. I think inside of us, some bigger than others. I'm kind of right there with you. I've got friends Funko Pops behind me. I'm curious as to what your nerd stuff entails.
I love reading. I have since I was a kid.
Hmm.
So for me, I mean, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, all that stuff as a kid, absolutely loved it. My fiance recently got me into Star Wars, so I also like Star Wars now. But Harry Potter will always be my like main book series that I love.
I love it. I cannot remember the name of the coffee shop that I'm from Scotland and in Edinburgh. There's the coffee shop where J.K. Rowling wrote the first book.
I
Should we
have
go
it
there?
saved on my maps
Yeah, have
because
you
we
seen
were
it?
supposed to go last month.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, that's right. Of course, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, and I like Harry Potter. I don't consider myself a fan. I've read one book and seen a couple of the movies. They're good. it's still, even for me, a cool thing to have seen
Yeah.
that. Like it's almost like modern history. Like everybody knows Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
So to sort of
I mean,
see
especially
what's
if you're
such.
from Scotland, like
Oh yeah,
that's, one of the main spots for it.
yeah,
But
absolutely. I did walk up. There's a real street in Edinburgh. The name's gone out of my head that Diagon Alley is based on, and there certainly was a very small Harry Potter touristy shop on it.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's a really cool street, regardless, because of the way it bends. I'll need to find the name and send it to you. Um, and oddly, I'd never seen a single episode of Star Wars until this past weekend, where
Really?
I was being given a real, for no reason. I've got nothing against it. It's just never watched it. Some co-workers of mine they were contemplating trying to fire me because this was sacrilege in their books. They're all really into Star Wars. So I watched most of episode 4, which I believe is the one you're meant to start with. Um,
Yeah, I
the,
think so.
yeah, and so far so good. We had to go out, so I didn't get to finish it, but I will. So
They're long movies. They're
yeah,
not short in any means, and they take a lot of mental capacity when you're watching them because you're constantly having to remember characters' names and stories and plot lines. Like I love Star Wars. It's great, but
mhm.
Harry Potter will always be it for me.
I
So,
love that. I love that. No, so let's get into this overlanding just a little bit. I'll just tell you, so like I said, I've always been to camping and that kind of thing. And several years ago, um, we camped overnight at Texas State Park. The name is suddenly gone out of my head. Doesn't matter at all. And we camped in the back of my wife's minivan.
mhm.
Um, and it was awesome. And then I thought, how could I really build out this Ford Explorer that I have? And I've done it on the cheap because it's mostly just me who uses it. My wife sometimes joins me. But like I built the bed just out of plywood and 2x4s and
Nice.
low profile, big hefty drawer things that go underneath it, and keeping it cheap and keeping it simple because I don't know how long this car will last. But I kind of love the whole culture. I went to an overlanding get together with, I think there was 90 vehicles a couple of months ago. And it was just amazing. Like, just every car is different. Everyone's unique. Some people have clearly spent a couple of $100 and just done something fun. Some people have spent four, probably five figures. So talk to
Yeah.
me about how you got into overlanding in particular.
Yeah, so I've been in the like outdoors, I guess you would say community ever since I was a kid. Like we would
Okay.
always go camping, we would always go hiking, we were always in nature, we were traveling a lot. So that's always been the space that I was like raised in. I
Hmm.
continued that throughout my youth and then now into adulthood. My dad, on the other hand, because that was my mom that would take us camping and everything. My dad was in the off-road community.
Ah.
He has a 76 or 77, I can't remember, Ford Bronco, and that's what he would overland or off-road with. So
Hmm.
he took it to Bronco bashes all the time. He would go to Death Valley and go take it over there and go take it on the Rubicon Trail. All these crazy off-roading stuff. Um, King of the Hammers he took me to for the first time. So finally in 2021, I was like, okay, you know what? I need a 4x4. I had a two-wheel drive Tacoma and I was like, this is not doing it. Like I like to
Right.
snowboard. I like to go hiking. I like to go in the snow. Like I can't have a two-wheel drive. So finally, my fiance and I were on this road trip and he's looking at all these cars and he's like, this is a cool foreign. He's like, I might buy it. And I was like, no. I was like, you're not selling your truck. I was like, I'll take that. So
Right.
I ended up purchasing it and it works well because he's too tall for it anyways. His head hits the roof.
Hmm.
So he's got a Tundra. But for me, the Forerunner works perfect. So 3 years ago, purchased that. It was built out for off roading at the time. So I was kind of more into off roading. Then I realized how much I love camping. And I realized that a lot of people put rooftop tents on the top.
Hmm.
But for me, the biggest part of that rooftop tent was hey, this is like 300 pounds. I don't want something that's going to be 300 pounds. So last year was when I found Inspired Overland, and they make a 90-pound rooftop tent.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is what I want. And I've been waiting for the right tent for a long time. I'd had a few offers from companies saying, hey, try out a rooftop tent. We'll give it to you for free. And I was like, nah, it's too heavy. Appreciate it. Looks amazing, but that's not my build. And I found
Right.
Inspired and I was like, this is the tent
This
that
is the
I
one.
need. This is the one. Finally got my tent, built out my drawer system with solid woodworks. Basically same thing as you. It's just a wood wood drawer system
Hmm.
and just finally built out the Overlander. Previously, it was just tent camping, and it was still great, but it wasn't true overlanding, I guess.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's some people, I'm just like, hey, just get outdoors, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like. Now, does the weight, this might be a really obvious question, but I don't have a rooftop tent. I sleep inside and I quite like it and then put
Yeah.
my stuff on the top. Is the weight really the base of the bed, of the rooftop tent? I'm just thinking that,
No,
no.
it's they actually use like well, I mean, I guess yeah, it would be the base, but it's
Mm.
not like it's that much weight. It's aluminum slats and then it's a
Okay.
mesh cover with a mattress over.
Okay.
So there's no actual base to the Inspired Overland tent.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like just a canvas base, which makes it super lightweight. And that's why they've been able to get away with making this a 90-pound tent, is because they basically eliminated that base. So a lot of the weight just comes in the cover material that's like
Right.
on the outside fabric and then the sides where the support comes in. So it's really impressive. It's a great tent.
Yeah, like I said, it's not for my build, but I'm really interested
Yeah.
in it now. So now we're looking at people who are innovative like that. And then, so you've got your build, you've been working on that. How did you, or what's the community like? So I know you're part of, especially, I don't know if it's exclusively a women's community that you're involved in or what. I'd love to hear a little more about this community.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean the overlanding community is great. There's a lot obviously it's a very male dominated field, which isn't a bad thing.
Hmm.
But bringing women to it is extremely important because it's not something that's promoted as much. So I actually
Right.
started Ladies with Rigs,
Oh, I
just
didn't know
so
you
us.
started it. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, I started it last year. We made a calendar that was like the initial release. We have a group chat on Instagram and Discord, and there's about I think maybe 150 girls from mainly SoCal, but a few of them are from like Washington, a few of them are from the East Coast, Texas, North Carolina. So there's a lot of us from all over the place, but it's just a space where women can really go to each other, ask questions, find support, like-minded people, and then camp group trips. So we had our first group trip in June. It was just up to Mammoth. We did Alabama Hills, Mammoth, camped there for a few nights, made pizzas, hot springed, paddle boarded, and just enjoyed. So
I
yeah,
love that. I love that when, a solo interest like creating your build turns into a community.
yeah,
And then all these, I'm assuming, wonderful friendships and things like that, kind of spawn from a joint love of overlanding. So that sounds like
yeah.
a really wonderful thing. I'm so glad you've done that, and long may it continue and grow.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've met some of my
Yeah,
best friends through the overlanding community, so it really is an amazing space to meet people. So
I love that. Well, we're kind of getting to the end here, wrapping up, but I've got three questions I'd like to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Um, First of all, we'll start with this one because we're talking about overlanding. One piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's perhaps wanting to get into this community, into this space, where would be a good place to start to look at resources, how to start a build, things like that?
ask your favorite influencer because they will 100% help you. The community for the overlanding community is just amazing. But my biggest recommendation: do not dump a lot of money into your rig. That is the
Right.
no offense to the people that do, good for you, but that is the worst possible situation. As soon as you get a single scratch on your rig, as soon as you mess something up, you're gonna feel so bad about all the money you just put into it.
Yeah.
Don't dump a ton of money into it. It's not about the car, it's about the driver. If you are a good driver, you will be able to conquer most obstacles. Obviously there's some limitations, but most
Right.
obstacles you'll be able to conquer. You'll be able to sleep great if you have a tent or if you build out your own drawer system or you build out your own bed. There's no need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on your rig.
Yeah, I love that. It's very similar to the hiking community. Some people are like, oh, do I need to go to, again, no offense to anyone who does this, spend $400 on a pack and $300 on the. That's great if you want to do that, but there's no need. There's no need at
Yeah.
all because that pack is going to get a stain, a tear, a this, a that.
Hmm.
I certainly started off with Ozark Trail, like, and I'm not too good for it at all. Nobody is. Just enjoy it and yeah, don't spend silly money.
Hmm.
Second question for you is Is there a book or a piece of music that has had a huge impact on your life? I think I
I
may
mean, I
already
could
know
say
the
Harry
answer.
Potter
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Um, I'll bring it to more of a. I'll bring it to two books.
Okay.
Um, I haven't fully read this one yet. I know I need to, but it's still made a huge impact because my mom preaches this as if this was the Bible. The
Hmm.
Four Agreements,
Okay.
just a spiritual way of living, basically fundamental principles of how to live an amazing life. I haven't fully read it. I need to, but it
Hmm.
is an amazing book, and I've pretty much learned most of what is in the book from my mom. And then the second one, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Right.
Amazing book for learning how to navigate the world, maturing communication, and business. So
I love
my two
that.
tops.
I've read the second one, never read the Four Agreements. One of the secret reasons I love doing this podcast is I compile a list of answers, and it'll be my to read list.
Well,
So
the Four
that,
Agreements is like
yeah.
a maybe 50-page book. So
Oh, okay.
it's a day.
A day. I love it. And my final question for you, if you could go overlanding for a long weekend with somebody, it could be somebody dead or alive, somebody you know or you've never met, famous, not famous, who would be one person you would love to go overlanding for a weekend with?
Hmm.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit.
That's a good one. I don't really have like famous people that I like look up to and go, "Oh my God, I really want to meet this person." So for me, I think it would be someone purely based on wanting to learn from them.
Okay.
Um, huh.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
don't,
I put you on the
it's a
spot.
hard one to
Yeah,
answer.
you don't have to. Maybe just think about it, and when we post this, we can post it underneath. But I've had guests go different ways with this kind of question. You know,
Yeah.
from a deceased relative to somebody super famous to this to that.
I think, and I might get a lot of hate for this one, but I think who I would want to go with would be Elon Musk because he is one of the smartest people alive. And having a conversation with him and learning from him would be so interesting.
Yeah, I think there can be people you like or people you don't like. That doesn't, to me, equate to how smart they are. There's people, not talking about Elon necessarily at all, but there's people I don't like, but I recognize are brilliant.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and yeah, those are two very different things, and sometimes people can muddy the waters.
Hmm.
Well, this has been wonderful. If people would like to talk to you, ask you as their favorite influencer about a build, find you online, where's the best place to do that?
Yeah, just Instagram, Vixen Outback is the best. I'm pretty responsive on DMs. So
Fantastic. So Vixen Outback for all your overlanding build questions is where to go. Well, Sierra, I cannot thank you enough. I've really enjoyed spending this time talking to you.
yes, I have as well. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you again to this week's guest, and I hope today's episode was as enjoyable for you as it was for me, and perhaps even inspired your next adventure. If you did enjoy the show, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more information at theoutdoorseyeducator.com or follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Until next time, thank you so much for listening to the Outdoorsy Educator Podcast.